Welcome, everyone. I know we have been quiet for the last few weeks. That is because Powerful today we've been busy, busy, busy trying to getting to bring you some amazing surprises in the new year. But in the meantime, we are wanting to get together with you, talk about what lessons we learned in 2023, what we're looking for in 2024, and really enjoying the opportunity and enjoying the season. So we have Dortha here with us today, and yes, yay! And we'll have, it's a busy time of the year, but we may have other mentor experts drop by. But we will certainly get started. So, Dortha, it's been an incredible year. You and I are, among many other things, we are techie girls. We love technology. We love AI. And I think 2023 is going to go down for the year that we came face to face with AI. So let's talk
For
a little
sure.
bit about that. Yeah. So what happened? What was unexpected? How did it change your world?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I feel like it's something that personally I have fully just embraced and accepted as part of what the new path forward in the future is looking like. And I think not being resistant to it has been the key to finding ways to be creative with it and utilize it for my best success and for my clients' best success. Instead of seeing it as something that's trying to take away what I'm doing, it's actually kind of a partner in my business now. And I use it as a consultant and help me, craft things. And, while it can't do all the fun and fancy things like create an image, it can give me really great ideas about what an image might look like. And so my graphic design brain can then go after the suggestions that ChatGPT or whomever gives me, and I can then go and dive in on something creative and create that for what I'm looking for. I think also really just kind of embracing the trends and following trendsetters and things that are happening in the marketplace. Canva, I'm a huge fan, and I think they have really been blazing the trails, so to speak. And I think that they are really somebody to watch right now as far as what they're rolling out into the marketplace, what's usable, and what they have to offer. So I think 2024, looking ahead, there will be a lot of really fun and exciting ways to incorporate all of those tools into my business, but also I think for everybody.
One of the things I love about Canva, and I'm a Canva convert, it's created by a lady. So it's a woman entrepreneur. And that's probably why it's such a brilliant design, functionality and utilization. But I think Canva, now that you mention it, is symbolic with with what is possible, with technology and how easy it is to create some, material and content that before either you had to have a huge budget or you had to, have this like major, I don't know, block or team or things that now are so easy to do. So welcome, Judy. So
Yeah.
good to see you.
Hey, Judy.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're doing amazing. It's kind of like an informal drop in kind of thing, where we are just recapping everything from 2023, lessons learned, and getting ready to innovate and elevate in 2024, of course. So
Yes.
tell me, so we were just saying that 2023, if we were to think of a year,
Mm-hmm.
just like 2020 was defined by the pandemic, I think 2023 was the year of AI when it had its coming out, its debutante party. What about AI in strategy? Did you meet your expectations or blew your mind or it was not what you expected? What were your thoughts on it?
For 2023.
For, well, this is the year it came out. So how did it
Oh,
change? your everyday life, if any, with the, our sudden
So
immersion in technology.
are you oh, okay? So so the sound keeps breaking up. You're talking about AI.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm getting about every second word. So I had to reconfigure my entire computer for all of yesterday because
Mm.
um, you got the magical blue screen with can't log in. Yeah, so 8 hours later. So things are still partially working.
Well, we can
It's
hear you great,
interesting.
and we can see you great. So
Perfect.
that's good news.
You know, AI is a scary tool,
Mhm.
but I must admit I have relied on it to help expedite my brain cells in the thought process. And so, if you use it strategically and you discern, it can be a beneficial tool. I think what given where it's at, there's so many people that are going to over rely on it
Mhm.
that I think it will do several things: make us lazy, make us rely on information that's not accurate, um, and then people will use it in many different ways that we're seeing. I mean, Ron's and of his retirement career is photography, and the number of people he knows, photographers that post the images that are all AI generated.
Mhm.
It's just, and so it's not true organic work.
Yeah, and we'll touch base on that. But I do like, want to elaborate a little bit on something you said. I'm not sure I would say lazy, but it may make us overly reliant where we're not developing the skill, like spelling, for example. How many youngsters or how many people say, "Ah, I don't need spell check," right?
Right.
And we've become overly reliant on spell check to the point that if you're handwriting something, I don't know if that ever happens to you. You're handwriting something, and all of a sudden it's like, where does it look right? I
All the
need to
time.
look it up, right? Because again, right, we're so used to that autocorrect
Yeah.
that is at our heels. But will ChatGPT will it do that for us? You're right. Is and I'm not sure laziness is the right word. I think is over reliant because all of the sudden is boosting us to a level that is perhaps not natural for us, right?
So
And
here's, go ahead and finish because then I will come back at your comment, which it's a matter of perception for
and
sure.
that's the beauty of it, right? That's
Yes.
such a
Yes.
positive discussion. And
Yep.
the
Yep.
fact that you and I work in leadership and in leading teams, to be able to have those points of discussion where we may agree, disagree,
Yeah.
evolve our
Totally.
thinking, right? That's the only
Yeah.
way it gets done is if we take the time to discourse. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think what AI, artificial intelligence, it's not just ChatGPT. Is
Mm-mm.
That's just one brand, right? That's like saying Kleenex is tissue, right? What artificial intelligence is doing, it is it is a performance tool, right? It's like having a car. If you're a bad driver and you have a high performance car, you're now going to be a bad driver in a high performance car. It's not going to make you a better driver. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think all of this technology is giving a boost to a lot of people that which is a good thing, right? However, the caution would be that it's not your own skills because an image created 100% by AI, right? It still had to have human intervention. It's not like the computer woke up, oh, I'm going to create images, right? It doesn't do that. It still needs some human prompting and some human cues. Well, at least not yet. Some human promptings and human cues, but it's creating something beyond perhaps the capability of that human. And so a lot of the natural skills are not being developed. So that would be my only caveat. Hi, Yusuf. So good to see you, Sana. Lovely for you to join us. We're just discussing AI today. I think 2023 will be summarized by AI, right? And so we were just discussing what did it turn out the way we thought? Why did it turn out? What did it turn out not the way we thought? And how did it change our lives? So what are your thoughts on it, Yusuf?
Well, for me, I was really happy to see the AI and especially the GPT modules, the learning modules, the machine learning module that has been really open to the public, because this is something that it's not new. It has been there in the background for years. Yeah, for years. And it just bring this awareness of what those models are able to do and how we can use them. And then it's the same thing. It's as what you put in determine what you get out. So for me, it's a different way of dealing with the information, managing the information, and also what I see, if I take just the GPT part, what I see as an added value, it's how I manage my time and where I dedicate my energy and my time
Mhm.
on things that can be managed by AI. At the
Mhm.
same time, I think there are some setbacks to the AI, especially when it comes to imagery. If I joined, I heard Trudy talking about images, so I'm not sure if I'm on the same wave. But when it comes to imagery, it's that where it requires an additional layer of cautiousness and
Sophisticated.
consciousness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why cautiousness? That's an interesting word.
Yeah, because for me today I can easily make Judy say something and appear on a video saying something that even contradicts her own values and what she stands for.
Correct.
So for me it's really where, while we may rely on AI, but at the same time, I see it as a call for even an additional layer for authenticity.
I agree.
So the way
Mhm.
how Carolina shows, the way how Dorta shows, and the way how Judy shows, even with the best AI generated video, I can today know, because I know the three of you and I know how you are authentic and how you show as you are in every circumstance. So it will be really very hard to trick me to say, oh, Judy said that.
Mhm.
Because immediately I will say, that doesn't look like.
It doesn't sound.
I,
So I did a testing, and you're right. It was weird to see me speaking without an accent. It
Oh,
was. I know, right? It was just like, huh,
yeah,
that looks odd. That sounds odd. But you know what? This goes to show you before how is really good practice to Google yourself, right? Always Google your name.
yes,
See,
it's
yeah.
scary.
But now I like what Yusuf just said. It may be worth to use to also Google your image, right, to see if your image is being utilized in a way that clearly is not sponsored or created by you.
yeah.
That
Well, just to add, that my main message here is that for me, AI at the same time, and this is something we don't talk enough about, it's that at the same, it's a call for a change, but it's also a call for authenticity
Mhm.
and for showing up authenticity.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. And it's so interesting. I find the time that we live right now is and I don't mean to be naive. I know there's tons of people that this all of what's transpired has had a very adverse effect. But between 2020 to now, I really appreciate how much it's made us reflect on our humanity,
Yeah.
right? In how we're beginning to value it, and be more respectful of it and honor it, right? is so I think that's been a good outcome of it. But there's been a lot of things that we're just beginning to experience what the negative outcome is. And so I finished in 2023 my dissertation on the impact of leveraging AI and technology and marketing aggregates on women entrepreneurship. And I have to tell you, doing the research was fascinating. The last 3 years doing that doctoral research has been it changed me as a person.
Mhm.
Is when you go deeper, and to Judy's point, right, is I don't think between the decentralization of information. So now is, we're finding out that a lot of all the legacy communication centers like media and like academics and things that there's dark side to it that perhaps we were not aware of, that now there's been great citizen journalism that have exposed like the dark underbelly of all these things. So it's going through a period of filtration. And I think technology and social media is doing a great job at it. But I think now is more important than ever that we learn critical thinking, that we learn, to really question. And there's nothing wrong with questioning as long as it's done in a respectful way, right? And that's where communication, humanity, working in teams, and respect comes in. So, Judy, in your work, that you do tons of brilliant work in bringing teams together to communicate and to really, cherish being part of a community that functions well. What have been your experience in this year? Are people embracing the changes, the working from home? Like, are organizations and leaders investing enough to really bring it up to par?
I think they're starting to realize how important it is to basically bring in a mindset culture that um, connects everybody.
Mhm.
And I think it's, I think we're also seeing some of the research is really showing now that fewer and fewer people are pushing for remote work. There,
Yeah.
it's still going to be there. I don't think that's ever going to, but people are realizing that the human connections that they are able to gain and the camaraderie of being in a work environment is really beneficial. And so, the culture piece with teams is even more. Most of the teams I work with aren't remote because they're in the healthcare settings, but they're realizing how important it is to surround themselves around support systems for their most important asset, their people.
Mhm.
So in healthcare, it used to be the most important person is the patient, but
Uh-huh.
so that is shifted not away from them, but making realizing that your employees are your most important asset
Or
for
at
your
least an
business.
equal stakeholder,
Yes.
right?
So
I
that I
like
see shifting for sure.
I like that. Yes, you said.
Yeah, it's really important what Judy said, and even though you mentioned the healthcare profession, but one of the things I'm celebrating in 2023 is that I facilitated a coaching program
Mhm.
for a private company that has been working only remotely.
Yeah.
In 2023, they decided to bring people to the office.
Hmm.
And, and I come back to the authenticity. One of the findings were that the perception of the colleagues among themselves were completely different when they
In
started
person.
meeting in person.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
In a
Okay.
Yes.
in a positive, I mean, it was a spectrum going from very positive to
It's a,
very less
it's a
positive.
different medium,
Yeah,
right? I've known many
exactly.
speakers that in
So
person
my
are magic.
that company has an amazing leadership team, and they said we want to bring someone external as a
Mhm.
coach, and we started the program with 12 people, and it was all around collaboration, how to create and foster collaborative mindset in a hybrid mode, because they still kept 2 days remote and 3 days in the office. And it was really an eye-opening even for me as a coach to see how people can really behave differently remotely than in person.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
this is what
that makes
brings
sense. It's the old adage that, behind the phone, everyone was mightier than in
even
person, right?
the levels of, if I may say, toleration of sources of annoyance are
Mhm.
different in person than
People smell differently in person than they
exactly.
do virtually. Well, it's true. You know what I mean? Like, say someone is a smoker, right? Not that there's anything, this is not about smoking or not. But like, say someone smokes or someone, it smells different in person than it would virtually. That adds a dimension of how you interact with someone. And, those are those human connections.
Yeah, exactly. And coming back to AI, what really important we did in that program is that we worked as part of the fostering the collaboration to see what can be automated and using AI so that people can have more time when they are in the office to work on a common projects.
Yeah.
And it worked brilliantly.
Collaborate. I think hybrid. I'm not 100%. Well, that'd be one of the upcoming discussions in the new year. But I
Yep.
want to go back to Dortha because you work a lot with technology and more on the entrepreneurial side of things. Are you finding most people are utilizing or do they realize what it's really capable of doing?
Um, I think there's a spectrum, and I feel like that's a theme in this conversation. I I have some clients who've definitely taken a full dive and they're in the deep end, and maybe they need a life raft.
Mhm.
Um, and then there are others who are just barely putting their toe in, and they're really like kind of leaning in with fear. So I think there's a certain amount of education that's required going into it. And I think there's a certain amount of, like you were talking about with the critical skills. I had a conversation with someone just recently that resulted in this conversation of back and forth where it was, asking better questions. When we ask the tools better questions, they give us better results. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've been really trying to help my clients to hone in on is like, don't just put in like, oh, like what color is the whatever. You have to get really, really specific and you have to really like drill down, go back and forth with it. I argue with mine all the time. Like, no, that's not what I asked you for. Please revise it. And this is what I want.
Make it
And
better,
you,
make it better,
mhm,
make it
yep,
better, right? Like
hone
about the
it in, hone it in.
to be like polished. Yeah. You know
Yes.
what? Is that critical thinking in knowing what questions to ask, right? Is that is
Yep.
so what I'm hearing is I know personally, even though like I said, I'm a convert, I love technology, I love AI, and I don't think it came out. I think the announcement, the trumpets announcing it's coming, were greater than the everyday impact it has had on people so far. I don't think, I think everybody thought, just from literature and from general discourse, that it was going to be a switch, robots on, humans off, right? And it didn't turn out to be the case. Clearly, there's still a lot more work to be done. Clearly, where will we be by 2030? I think, is worth considering and is worth preparing for it.
You
But
know,
meantime, I do think we have time. Not a lot, but I think education on the human side, on the technology side,
Yeah.
there's a
Yep.
lot of investment in education that needs to occur. And not just monetary, but time and effort, right? And it has never been, I don't think information, we can now find information, what is it, in 5 minutes that it would have taken, a century to gather in the past, right?
Yes.
Information's not our problem right now. Is in the discerning what is true, what it isn't, in discerning what is right and what it isn't. And sometimes it is the legacy information that we need to revisit, right? And not from a place of judgment, but simply, now we know that an earthquake's not because we've upset a god, right? Because there's tectonic plates moving. It's the same thing now. It's not about going back and being mad at what we thought 5 years ago, when 5 years ago perhaps that was the right thing to think, right? Now we just have a little bit more information. So educating yourself, investing yourself in time and resources is key. So our theme for 2024 with Powerful Women today, I am so excited, is innovate and elevate. Innovate and elevate. I'm not 100% sure, and we're going to have so many beautiful conversations in the new year. I'm not sure disruption is, I don't think it's necessary. I think the minute you innovate, you disrupt without the negative connotation, right? Because disruption for the sake of disruption, ugh, so what? That's just, you're rebelling, right? Rebel without a cause sometimes, right? Or with a cause. I believe that innovation is the best way to curate and to do better, right? To bring about better. So for 2024, under the thought of innovate and elevate, this is our exit cue. What are some of the things that I know we're going to be collaborating in, and that you would like to be the champion that brings more of it to the world? So, Dorothy, if you would like to give some thoughts, and then Judy and Yusuf, please.
Well, I definitely have a passion for, as you know, for helping people balance out their entrepreneurial life with having a normal life. We'll call it in quotes. And whether that's getting out and doing crazy things like I do, going backpacking or snowshoeing or whatever, or just being able to find time to take self care, time for self care. So I feel like my mission is really going to help me, focusing more on helping more people to find the balance, find the fusion of the two. I don't really like to say balance so much as fusion, because it really is a blend. And that's I think where my focus is for 2024.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Judy?
Yeah, I like that word fusion that replaces balance, because that connotation of work-life balance gets just overused. Yeah, so I love that fusion piece. Just so you know, I just thought I'd put that in there. Yeah, for me, it's continuing the clarification piece, but taking the system that I've so clearly defined now and bringing it to people in a way that they know how it will help them get what they want, not necessarily what they need. And that's what my
Mm,
article was about for the magazine,
mm,
because that's a big one. Need takes us into comparing ourselves to others. Want is internal, and what we look at want because it shares so much about our life and our life and experiences in our life, and allows us then to say, wait, this is where I start with finding happiness. I don't have to go over here to get it.
mhm. And I love what you said, because if you say, I want, right, there's a lot of confidence that comes with that.
Yes.
And there's a lot of, because not that we ever need to justify ourselves to anybody else, but it's
Mm-mm.
easier to say, oh, I needed to do that, right?
Yes.
Like there's a little bit of righteousness or a little bit of, responsibility. But when you say, no, I quit my job because I wanted to be an entrepreneur, no, because I needed more, whatever. No, I wanted it. It meant a lot to me.
Yep.
And so I did it, right? There's a lot of power in that. So I'm so looking forward to collaborating with you on that. I think that is absolutely brilliant. Thank you. And
That
you said,
was, yep.
what are your thoughts on 2024?
But first, I see here a great common collaborative project that we can do with Dorta and Judy because Dorta used Fusion. I long time ago I stayed away from the life work balance and I used harmony. But now you gave me even an
That,
additional part which is fusion, so it can be a harmonious fusion. That
Love
would
it.
be really, really great. For what Judy said about the wants and needs, that's part of the core of my coaching practice based on self knowledge and living life intentionally. The acronym SCALI, which is also my last name. And the part of the self knowledge, big part of the work I do with my clients, it's around the wants, the needs, and the shoulds, and
mhm.
really trying to reconcile between those three with a bigger focus on the wants. So
And
so I
your,
see. Sorry.
sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah, and the big. So I see big collaborative projects that we can do all of us actually, and I don't want to leave apart or aside the shoulds because an exercise that I do often, and it's always an aha moment for my clients. So I ask them to ask around them the most significant people in their life to validate with them their list of shoulds. And most of the time, they come back saying what they thought they should be doing was not expected necessarily by the others,
Wow.
and I think
Mhm.
that's really important. What I
And
want to work, and I missed the deadline for the magazine, and I feel sorry for myself for that. I don't know how it slips my mind, but something I want to talk about in an article. It was really how with PWT to take my tagline of a human app to the next level. For the past 2 years, I've been using it to initiate and facilitate the conversation around men's mental health, moving from man up to human up. And along my collaboration with PWT, I realized that there is also another expression which is woman up. That it was not really in my radars. And now I'm shifting the human up from man up to human up to simply human up. Whoever you
the
are,
woman app.
just
It,
human up.
what I was going to celebrate you for, Yusuf, is for the incredible work that you're doing on emotional intelligence with men. There's many,
Mhm.
every time you come
Mhm.
across coaches, especially gentlemen coaches, it's usually along the financial marketing, it's more
Mhm.
business oriented.
Business.
I do
Mhm.
not come across many coaches that work on the emotional intelligence and the emotional aspect of
Yep.
men who are going through a really hard time. So I
Yep.
celebrate you, and I champion you, and I'm delighted that we will continue on our work together. And I want to include one more word to fusion into the work life, and that is integration. Is the integration of both in. So we have great work to be done globally. We have amazing initiatives that we're bringing to all of our friends in 2024, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of our PWT mentor experts, because your standards in your proficiency and professionalism and ethics and just pristine leadership makes work pleasure. It is, I could not imagine doing this without all of you. And I just want to thank you. You are my friends, you're my colleagues, you are my fellows, in arms. And I wouldn't want to do this without you guys. So all of you, because I know we're just a
Thank
small
you, Sandrine.
delegation today, but
Yes.
I look forward to having more collaborations and doing more good work for many, many years to come. So thank you, everybody. It's been delightful.
You.
Happy
Thank
2020.
you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Forward to an incredible 2024. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.